Welcome to Real Estate for Real. My name is Eric Pettigo. I am a realtor with the Real Estate Group in Springfield, Illinois. I'm about 12 years in. I got licensed in 2013. I started actively selling in 2014. And if you haven't caught this before, I host this podcast called Real Estate for Real, and I have done, over the last year, nearly 40 episodes. And typically what I do is I have another realtor or somebody from the real estate industry join me, and we talk for about an hour or so about, different things happening in the industry and share experiences. And, I have lenders on sometimes. I've had an appraiser on, and I'm actually having a home inspector on next week. So the whole goal is kind of in the name. It's Real Estate for Real. The whole goal is to talk about the realities of the industry that I work in and try our best to help people out, to give some tips, to give some strategy, to help buyers and sellers out there. It's a tricky market to navigate. So that's kind of been the whole goal. And to maybe, through our stories and experiences, help other agents out there too. It's one thing that I've learned, and I've had so many agents on with such a wide range of experience, 3-4 years in the business up to, 3-4 decades in the business. And one consistent is that you can never stop learning. The business is always changing. The market is always changing. Things are always evolving. So you can never really quit learning and picking up new things that could help, whether you're an agent or you are just somebody looking to buy or sell. And so a few months back, I did one of these solo episodes, and it was aimed specifically for buyers. And I think the title was Thinking About Buying. So if you want to check that one out, you can find it. These are all on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. There's videos on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Real Estate for Real. And there's a Facebook page, Real Estate for Real. I've got a Facebook page for me, Eric Pettigo, broker partner at the Real Estate Group. I forget the name of my own page. But if you want to find old episodes or find whatever I'm up to, you can find me. I make a bunch of TikToks where I interact with crazy online trolls more often than I probably should, but it's kind of fun for me, so I do it anyway. And so that's where you can find the stuff that I've done, and that's where you can find the buyers episode that I did a couple months back. And I've been meaning to make time to do one for sellers too. So that's the whole point of this episode, is I want to talk to you about what you need to do if you're thinking about selling your house, or what you can do, some choices that you have, right? And I'm going to be very straight, very honest with you about things that could help and things you should consider that maybe you haven't. And I'm doing this from my house. Usually we go to the office and we occupy one of the conference rooms and we sit in there, but I'm doing this one from my house. So if we get a surprise cameo from one of our dogs or my wife or one of our kids, so be it. These things happen. But let's get into it, right? So you're thinking of selling your house. Should be easy enough, right? It's a seller's market. Everybody knows that. We've been saying that for the last 5 years. Should be easy enough. You could just go stick a sign in the ground and sell it, right? The question is, should you hire a real estate agent? Obviously, I've told you what I do. I'm a realtor. My opinion is going to be a little bit biased when it comes to this. I think, of course, yes, you should hire a realtor to help you sell your house. But it's not just, so I can keep the lights on. It's really based in fact, and you can look this stuff up. Like, all of the info's out there. If you look up success rate, selling on your own versus hiring a realtor, it is overwhelmingly convincing that hiring a realtor is your best way to go, right? So just some numbers. And again, look this up. Feel free. This isn't just, yeah, of course you're saying that you're a realtor. This is real. So some of the numbers I found, and the reporting on this varies, except the only thing that you can't really find is reporting that says that you are going to be worse off hiring a realtor. Median sale nationwide listing with a realtor, 435,000. Compared to the median sale nationwide of listing for sale by owner, 380,000. Now that is a $55,000 swing on average. Just some simple math. Let's say you pay a realtor 6% to list your house. Well, 6% of 435,000 is 26,100. All right. So if I didn't lose you in all the numbers, and by the way, that 6%, that's just what I charge. That's not mandatory. You can shop around for other prices if you want, but as somebody who runs my own business, I'm allowed to decide what I charge, and that's what I charge. So this is just if you hire me. Not all agents charge the same, and it is certainly not mandated by law. There you go. But that $55,000 swing between buy owners and with an agent, if you do 6% of the median sale, $435,000, which is $26,100 in commissions. I don't know how quick you are at math. It took me a while. I had to pull out my calculator. But that is covering commission plus $30,000 in your pocket extra, right? So you go in thinking, I'm going to sell it by owner and I'm going to save that commission money. But you're not really considering the fact that when you list with a realtor, we reach so many more people, right? This is what we do every day. We market, we advertise, we send this out there to everybody. And then when people see it listed with a realtor, then they get a realtor and they come in and buy it. And almost all buyers are working with buyer's agents. And so when you're out there refusing any realtor, involvement in your transaction whatsoever, you are eliminating a huge buyer pool. You are effectively getting rid of the whole demand part of supply and demand. You've got the supply, sure, but the demand for houses being sold by owner is low. I mean, like I said, the numbers are out there. You can look it up, right? And then the deals that actually stay together, 36% of all sellers try to do it on their own. People try this. And again, free country. Go ahead. You do not have to hire a realtor. I've said this a million times if you follow me on TikTok. But 36% try to do it on their own, and only 11% actually succeed and go through with a sale. And then when they do actually get to that sale, we talked about those numbers, right? They're taking home way less than they would on average with a realtor. That is a scary rate of I guess not success. Sorry, not great with my words sometimes, but that's what's happening is you run into things, right? The thought is, well, I can post it on Facebook. I mean, I can put a sign in the ground. I can post it on Facebook. I can give Zillow some money and get it listed on Zillow as myself, as an owner. And that's all I need. That's all the work. I've done all the work. I've got it out there. But people who really know, people who have been through this a few times, they know that as realtors, we don't get paid to take fancy pictures and put your house on the internet and type up something about spacious rooms and plenty of cabinet space. That is easy. Anyone can do that, right? Your teenager could do that. Taking pictures and putting little write-ups and posting it online, that's what they do all day, every day. Anybody can do that. Where we make our money comes after that. It comes in knowing the contracts. It comes in hitting our deadlines and keeping everything together and coordinating all the things that happen from contract to close. and making sure things stay on track. And sometimes talking people off a ledge, and sometimes talking to the people on the other side and finding some common ground there. Things that get lost when you're on your own trying to navigate through this, when you run into all these hurdles after you just take some pictures and stick a sign in the ground. Because I promise anybody can do that. And, your phone will ring. Go post on Facebook. Your phone will ring. Somebody's, people are going to look at it. They are. People might even make you an offer. Are they pre-approved? Maybe. They give you a pre-approval letter. Who's the lender on that? Do you know if that's a good one you can trust? Or do you know if that's somebody they just clicked a few buttons online and got a pre-approval letter, sent over? We help you vet the buyers as a listing agent. And so if you get multiple offers coming in, and this is where it gets even more tricky, you get multiple offers coming in. And, you want to look at the number. Number seems to be the most important thing, right? But there are so many terms that go with each offer that could be different. This guy or these people don't want to do inspections. These people do. These people are waiving the appraisal. These people aren't. These people want all your appliances. These people don't. So what's better? If the numbers are all pretty close, then how do you determine which of these is a better, stronger offer? Realtors will help you with that. That's what we do. It's our job to know this stuff. So, should you hire an agent? Yes. Now, not everybody does. Some people have bought and sold so many properties and they swear, why would I ever use an agent? I know what I'm doing. I've done this plenty of times. To which I say, fine, go ahead. Go ahead. I compare it to this, right? I could probably hang drywall at my house. If I needed drywall hung, I probably could. I could get on YouTube. I could read it. I could read about it. I could figure it out. I could probably get that done. Would it be as nice, or would it work as well as if I would have called somebody who does it every day? No, absolutely not. It would be horrible. My wife would hate me. It's some things like, can you do it on your own? Sure. Would you be better off hiring a professional? Yeah, probably. Probably so. Right? Do you have to pay to hire a professional? Yeah. But then remember, time is money. So you're freeing up all of your time, because now you're not, every time your phone rings, you're not scheduling showings. You're not running and meeting buyers. And when I tell you that part of a realtor's job is, you don't want to say it because it sounds bad, but there is a lot of time wasted showing houses that you will never sell to people who are never going to buy, right? That's part of what we do. And we know it. It comes with the territory. But when you're selling by owner, when you're selling by yourself, and you are nonstop opening your door for people that walk in and they look around, they go, oh yeah, that's nice, I'll get a hold of you. And then that's it. They walk away. Yeah, it's fine. Maybe it was 30 minutes at the house, but how long was it to drive over there? How long was it to drive back? And now you're calling and you're trying to follow up and you're trying to get feedback. All this is taking time away from your life. Whereas, again, this is what we do. This is what we sign up for. Let us take that time. You go be productive at whatever you're doing with your life. That's, again. All right. So you need to find an agent. So how do you do that? That's the next part. What is the best way to find a real estate agent? If you haven't used one before, you don't have one that you know you like, how do you go about picking a good real estate agent? Here's something, you can do it if you want, right? But I promise you, you can just do an experiment. If you're bored someday, get on Facebook and post looking for the best real estate agent. And watch what happens. Watch the comments. You will get no less than 50 comments from your Facebook friends. And they will tag every realtor in town. And every one of those will say, hire so-and-so. They're the best. Every single one. I know because it happens. It happens all the time. I get tagged in a lot of these, and I appreciate it. And my clients out there who tag me in these posts, please keep doing it. I'm not complaining. But what I'm saying is that may not be the most effective way of actually finding who the best agent is for you. Because best has a lot of different meanings. Do you mean best as in who has sold the most? Okay, I mean, if that's what you're looking for, fine. There are some agents who, I mean, none of it, we all work at, on different levels of production. Some of us are on teams, and our teams are highly productive. There are other people like myself. I'm a solo agent. I'm independent. I work on my own, and happy to say I'm highly productive too. I'm typically one of the top producing independent agents in Central Illinois. But to my clients, to the people that I've helped, that come back to me again and again, and they refer me to their friends and to their family, to them, I am the best agent, right? And to some of my realtor friends who I work with, who have the same deal with their clients that they've worked with, they've helped them buy and sell, 5, 6 houses, and they refer to family and friends to their clients. They are the best agent. It comes down to what you need and who fits what you need best. So if you just say, I need the best real estate agent, you're going to get a long list of names. And we're all the best. To somebody, we are. So then you are essentially back at square one. Now what you have are a list of a lot of realtor names. And that's all you have. You don't really know anything about them. So what do you do? Well, this is anytime that I see these posts online, I do the same thing. And we all get on there. Every time we get tagged, we get on there. And, we like whichever one of our clients put our name out there. We like their comment. And we say something like, hey, thank you for thinking of me, that kind of stuff. And then a lot of times, you'll see agents they'll thank their client for mentioning them. And then they'll say to whoever posted, I'll send you a DM. I'd love to get together and talk. Let me know how I can help. Right. And that's fine. That's okay. I always say the same thing. For one, I, of course, thank my clients. And then I say to whoever posted, we have a lot of great agents. Your best bet is to talk to several, 5, 6, 7, as many as you want. Just take some time. Have them over. Have them come to your house and meet you. Look at your house. Get to know them a little bit. Do you mesh with them? I mean, is it an easy conversation? Did you feel comfortable with that agent? That's so big. That's so huge. You have to have that chemistry. You have to be able to communicate and feel comfortable communicating with that agent. Because the selling your house process, I mean, it's a relationship. Right? You get to know each other really well, and you're talking a lot, and you have to be comfortable with that person. So you can tell a lot by a person if you just sit down with them for 45 minutes to an hour, and you can feel like, yeah, we just didn't click. And I've gone on listing appointments that I haven't got. I mean, it happens. We all have our own unique personalities, and they don't always match up, and they don't always align. So that's okay, but don't just go off of a name that gets posted online and say, you're my agent. Talk to a lot of agents, right? I mean, you can look and see their agents on billboards, agents on park benches, agents on Facebook that you see, posting listings and checking in from closings and stuff like that. And that's great. That's fine. That's what we're supposed to do. It's presence of mind. We're supposed to get ourselves out there. But is that the best agent for you personally? Talk to them. How well do they know the area? Right? How prepared are they when they show up? Do they bring comps? What kind of comps? Comps are, like sales that have happened recently. I'm sorry, you probably already know that, but just in case you don't, right? So they'll bring over sales that happened recently to kind of give you an idea of what your house should be priced at. Do they bring over your competition? right? Do they show you what you're up against right now? Well, they probably should. That part's important. You need to know what's out there in the same range. You need to know what buyers are going to be looking at when they punch in criteria and they find your house. What other houses are they going to see? How does your house stack up with those houses? Right? So how prepared is that agent when they come to meet you? Right? Do they act too busy? Are they trying to get out of there really quick? You have to be good with the agent that you hire, and the only way to do that is to meet them first. And you are doing yourself a disservice if you don't meet with several. So that comes along with some other things, right? I have always subscribed to a formula when it comes to selling houses. And I'm trying to think of how to say this. There's fluff versus formula, right? It seems like a simple formula, but there are layers to it, right? The formula I have, it's presentation, it's marketing, and it's pricing. And if you check those boxes, you're going to sell your house, right? But there's fluff out there too. If you're calling an agent for any other reason than I'm going to sell your house for you and get you the most money, that's fluff, right? If there's bells and whistles attached to it, and that's the whole intention is to just get a phone call and just to get an appointment and a meeting, that's fluff. My whole goal is to sell your house for as much money as possible, as soon as possible. That's it. That's the formula. So as far as presentation goes, because that's going to be the first thing. So we're going to meet. We're going to talk about your situation. I want to know what your motivation is. I want to know what's making you want to sell your house. Where are you going from here? What's got you to this point? What's important to you? I need to know that stuff. So then we get into presentation. So we're going to walk around. You're going to show me your house. And you're going to say, I want to do all this. I want to redo my bathroom. I want to redo my kitchen. I want to paint this. I want to do that, and you're going to have a checklist of things in your head, which, by the way, this is important. Don't wait to talk to a realtor until you think you have your house ready to list. Totally unnecessary. As soon as you think about listing, call me. I'm at the real estate group. Give me a call. I'd love to help you out, but call me as soon as you think about listing and let me come over. I'm not buying your house, so it doesn't have to be show ready for me. I can see past boxes. I can see past paint. I can see past flooring. I can see past all of that stuff. So don't wait. Don't say, well, we're not ready for you to come over yet. We're still trying to get the house ready. You don't have to get the house ready for me, right? The whole process, it takes time, right? From the time you're thinking about listing until the time we hit the market, it's usually not like a next day turnaround. So get me in there as early as possible in the process. I can help with this stuff. Do you need to swap out that flooring? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you're worried about it and you shouldn't be, right? Do you need to paint these walls? Maybe. Right? There are some things, though, that you can make as a homeowner because you live there. You can make a checklist that never ends of things that you need to do before you think your house is ready to sell. I've had so many times where I walk into somebody's house and they're telling me, we want to do this and this and this and this. And I'm going, whoa, you don't need to do half of the stuff you just said. That's not going to make you any extra money. That's only going to cost you money and take time. Here's what you need to focus on, and I will help you with that list because I can see, listen, here are the houses around you. Here's the top that we are possibly going to get, and here's what you need to worry about to get to that number. And your list and my list are going to be different. My list, a lot of times, is going to be shorter than your list. So get me in there as soon as possible so I can help you sort through these things that you are feeling overwhelmed by. And I can tell you what to focus on. I can tell you what to get done, what is top priority versus bottom of the list of things you need to worry about. And that's going to help us get to where we want to be sooner rather than later. So don't wait. Don't wait to call a realtor. Call one as soon as you even think about buying. It doesn't have to be show ready. So we're going to come over and help you with that presentation. We're going to help you get it show ready. Do you need to thin out? Do you have a bunch of clutter? Right? We're going to let you know in a good listen, if a realtor comes over and does not offer you any sort of constructive criticism whatsoever, you need to be a little concerned. Right? Unless you keep an absolute immaculate house, which some people do. It does happen. But there is such a slim chance that there isn't at least a couple of things that we think you should improve, right? So we're going to go through. We're going to say, all right, you've got some stuff you need to thin out a little bit. We're going to tell you if you need to paint certain walls or not. Do you need to depersonalize, right? Meaning, do you have a bunch of pictures of your family up? I know everybody says, well, I need to get rid of all I know. I saw online, I have to get rid of all of these pictures of my family. Do you really? Not necessarily. It's not going to affect the sale per se. Now, if it's overwhelming, if it's every wall is completely adorned with just tons and tons of pictures, okay, maybe slim those down a little bit. Maybe you don't need all of them. But keep in mind that these pictures we take are going on the internet. So do you want your kids' grade school pictures on the internet? Do you want your wedding pictures on the internet? If you don't, then take that stuff off the wall because that's going online. Another thing, and I just put a TikTok out about this a couple of days ago. It's strange times that we're living in. And I never would tell anyone politically how they should lean or vote or anything. But what I can tell you is that it's probably a good idea if you have any political paraphernalia up at your house, flags, banners, pictures, anything like that, just in the day and age that we're living in, just consider maybe putting that stuff away. I mean, I don't have to educate anyone about what kind of world we're living in right now and online. There's a lot of anger out there right now towards people who don't feel the same way as you do. And so that can spill over into real estate transactions. That can affect the offer you get, whether or not you get an offer at all. That can, even if you do get an offer and you get things together, that can affect inspections and negotiating. It can affect how the other side sees you. It can make them see you as maybe, less than a person and not somebody they're worried about negotiating in good faith with. Just a thought. All right. You don't have to. You do whatever you want. If you want to make whatever stand you want to make, it's free country. But just trust me, I show houses every day. So I see this stuff. That's decent advice. So think about that. Be aware of smells in your house. Do you have dogs? We have dogs. Yeah, there's one scratching at the door right now to get in. We have dogs. If you have cats, dogs, be aware of the smells, right? Do they lay on the couch all the time? Do they lay in the beds? Do you have carpet everywhere? Do you have big stinky dog beds that it's their favorite bed and they curl up on it and they have been for the last 7 years? That bed probably stinks. Need to update it, probably. Shampoo your carpet. Do whatever you can. Ask a friend to come over and give you an honest answer. Does my house smell like an animal? If so, you got to do something about it. Same with cigarettes. Do you smoke? Listen, if you're a grown-up, if you want to smoke, smoke. But do not smoke in your house. And if you do smoke in your house and your house smells like cigarettes, I'm going to tell you about it when I come in. That's my job. I'm going to tell you, yeah, that smell, whatever it is, be it dog, cat, or smoke, that smell hit me in the face the second I walked in the door. And if I'm a buyer and I walk into your house, that's before your eyes can go so many places, right? As far as senses go, there's there's ceilings, lights, floors, walls, cabinets. Your eyes take a long time to absorb everything. Your nose takes a millisecond. And so if the first thing that you sense when you walk into a house is a bad smell, it's over. That's it. That takes over, and that becomes all you can focus on. So you're looking around. Now it doesn't matter. You got quartz countertops. Nice. Your house smells like cat pee. Right? Like, how am I ever going to get that smell out of here? I've got to rip up all the carpets. I've got to kills everything. I've got to get air purifiers going. I've got to open all the windows. I'm going to have to offer them a little bit less because I have to do this stuff. All right? Be aware of that. Smell is the first thing you experience when you walk through the door of whatever building you're in. And so as a buyer, you want that first thing that they experience that hits them to be a nice, welcoming smell. You want it to smell like home, right? And home is not Glade plugins. Glade plugins, I will just say, and this might be a personal preference thing for me, Glade plugins smell like you're trying to cover something up. If you walk into a house and there's a Glade plug-in in every room, it smells like chemicals and it smells like it's trying to cover something up. I always recommend candles or wax burners. Those smell like home. They smell a little more inviting. So please do not plug in Glade plugins all over your house. Just do you got to trust me on this. I go through a lot of houses. All right. Let's see. Presentation, beware smells. All right, let's start going through this list here. All right. What about if you do need to paint? If I walk in and I say, listen, you need to paint this room, or this flooring is bad, you've got to put in new flooring. What I hear a lot is, well, should we just offer a flooring allowance, or should we just offer a paint allowance? And the answer is no. Not if you can afford to do it on the front end. You would be surprised how many people can't see past these things. I mean, you would be blown away. And so what you're going to do is you're going to list your house at whatever price it should be. And you're going to say, I'll give you whatever it is, $5,000 for a flooring allowance. And they'll say, okay. Buyers will come and say, okay. But because they can't see that stuff, whatever your house is listed at, with their offer, they're going to charge you for the updates that need done. And then they're still going to ask for that allowance, right? And I know the thought is, well, they'll want to pick out their own carpet. They'll want to pick out their own colors for the wall. They'll want to pick out, you would think. But we live in a different day and age now. People are busy. New is new. Neutral is neutral. So when somebody buys a house, what they want to do is they want to come in, they want to close on the house on a Friday, they want to move in Saturday, Sunday, and get back to their lives on Monday. They don't want to spend time ripping up carpet with your allowance that you gave them. They don't want to wait for that. They need to move in and get back to their lives. This is a different day and age. So if you can afford to do it, do it. You will get that. You'll get that return when you sell the house. Now, keep in mind, these things that I'm saying, this is for optimal value when you sell your house. Are you going to be able to check all of these boxes? Maybe not, right? Exceptions to every rule. Maybe you can't. Maybe you don't have the money to paint the walls and put in new flooring. Maybe you just need to get your house sold and this is all you can do. And that happens and it's okay, right? We can do that too. Just know going in like what the results are probably going to be. So you likely aren't going to be able to check every box that I'm telling you you need to check. And that's okay, right? I'm just telling you, if you want absolute maximum top value for your house, that you need to try to check as many of these boxes as possible. Speaking of optimum value, I'm going to back up a little bit because something my wife pointed out to me, and God bless her, she is amazing. And I ran through this kind of the outline of this podcast before when what am I missing, right? She's so good at this, and I talk to her about real estate all the time. And so she knows. And she said, what about off-market deals? What about the people? Because every house I go into that I'm talking to somebody about listing and selling, they say, okay, but my neighbor has a cousin who's interested, or, my niece is interested. And so they might come, they're going to come look at it. They might buy it. There is somebody I work with is interested, and they might come buy it. So before we list, I want to let them through. Okay. This goes along the lines of this happens too when I go to list somebody's house and they say, well, I mean, do you have anybody who'd want to buy it? Like, we don't have to list it. If you have somebody who wants to buy it, great. You can just get both sides. Great for you, right? Yeah, it would be great for me. Not great for you. You run the risk of leaving so much money on the table by not getting your house out there to the open market, right? So off-market deals, I can't recommend less. It is, think about it like this. This is a very real scenario. You could potentially leave $50,000 on the table by not letting your house hit the open market. Very easily. I've literally experienced this with people who were going to sell by owner and told me about it. And I said, whoa, let me list it. Because they told me what they were going to ask for their house, what they were going to take. They had a neighbor who was going to buy it for X amount. And I knew what that house was really worth. So no, let me list it. And even after my commission, they put 70, 80 grand more in their pocket. Right? And so the question is, even if it's somebody that you like, and it's like, yeah, but it's my friend from work and they need a house, so I can sell them the house, everybody wins. Okay. How good of a friend is that? Would you cut that friend a $50,000 check today? Right? I mean, think about it. You better be really good friends if you're just willing to cut them a check that big, because that's what you're doing. You have equity in your house that you are just giving over to someone else. Off-market deals are very, very rarely in the best interest of a seller. And if a realtor comes to you and says, hey, if you're thinking about listing, if they're thinking about selling, I've got buyers. I've got a buyer for your house. I could bring him through. If you're off market and a realtor sends you a letter, I've got a buyer specifically for your house. You going to sell him your house? This one buyer, right? Your neighbor knows somebody who wants your house. Somebody, one buyer. If you let me list your house, I will make sure that everybody's neighbor, everybody's cousin, everybody's coworker sees your house, right? That is buyer pool multiplied by, hundreds and hundreds of percentages. That's what you want. That's how you get the most for your house. So these off-market deals that happen, even if it's agent to agent, agents walking hallways saying, hey, I've got somebody looking to sell. I've got a hip pocket. And another agent says, well, I got somebody for it. Cool. Let's just get it together. All right. As a seller, you got to be aware that you are missing out on a potentially huge buyer pool. And you could have had possibly a lot more money for your house. So you always want to hit the open market, especially in this market. Right? All right. Let's move on. So that brings us to the marketing, because this is super important. Marketing, getting it out there online. Fine. Like I said earlier, anybody can take pictures and do it. We have real estate photographers who know how to get the best angles, right? and they have these wide angle lenses, and they know which part of the room to get in to show the whole room. Does it sometimes make it seem like rooms are bigger than they are? Sure. But that's not always intentionally like a misleading thing. It's because if you go right now, if you take a camera into your bedroom and get a picture, do you get the whole bedroom? Doubtful. You need a wide angle lens. The whole point is to, in one picture, get the entire room. And so when you see the picture online, it makes it seem sometimes bigger than it is when you see it in person. But that's why. But anyhow, that's still presentation, right? So we're going to make sure that your presentation is good and so that we can market it effectively. And this part is important. We don't want to hit the market until your house is a finished product, right? We can hit it as a coming soon. We can get it out there, and coming soon listings are fine. I don't mind those at all, but you don't want to be coming soon too long, then people forget about it. Maybe a week, right? Coming soon for a week is, to me, about tops. Coming soon for a month, that's too long. People forget about it. Coming soon for a week, tops. But it needs to be a finished product. So whatever you're going to do, if you're getting things out of the house and putting them in storage, if you're, if you are going to paint and you are going to put in flooring, or you're going to swap out the hardware on the cabinets in the kitchen, it needs to be a finished product. We don't want to list and then while we're on the market, you're in and out making improvements. We want the day it hits the market, we want that house to be shining. I mean, we want it to be so good that the first people in the door see it and want it. Finished product. It's important. You got to have it. You want to be in a hurry. You want to list. And sometimes you have to list before it is a finished product. And again, I understand the exceptions to every rule, but if you can, take the time to make it right so that when you do hit, you're never going to get more exposure than you do that first week you hit the market. So you want the people coming in and seeing it to absolutely fall in love. And for that, you need to have it like completely show ready at that point. Let me check some things off my list here. I've been going for like 40 minutes. This is kind of a long one. Glade plugins. Yeah, did that one. Hit the market as a finished product. Yep. How about this? What about pre-inspections? Huge advocate of getting a pre-inspection done on your house. It might set you back $500. Sure. But it could potentially eliminate some serious hurdles later in the transaction if a buyer is getting their own inspection. I had 2 deals fall apart in the last few weeks, strictly due to buyer inspections. That if we would have got them pre-inspected, wouldn't have had this issue. So that's on me as an agent. I should have pushed that a little bit harder before we listed, right? Because you get that inspection done on the front end, and any repairs that you're going to make, you are in control of making those repairs. And then that report becomes available to the buyers. So before people even walk in the door, they can look at that inspection report. It eliminates probably, I don't know, I could look it up, the number one cause of transactions falling apart, I'm guessing, is buyer inspections. At least in my experience, it is. Buyer inspections, buyers seeing something they don't like on the inspection report and scratching and clawing to get out of that transaction with everything they have. I just went through it twice. It's heartbreaking, and it's stressful, and it's a lot. And it's like, yeah, if we just would have spent $500 on the front end, so get one if you can. Take the time. Will it set you back a couple of weeks on listing? Sure. But it's better than being pending for 3 weeks and then the whole deal falling apart and then starting from scratch after that. So I highly, highly recommend a pre-inspection. Cross that off the list. The marketing part. So I guess kind of the other thing about that with the pictures and getting it out there online so that everybody can see it. People look at Realtor social media pages specifically for this stuff, right? And so once we get it into the MLS, and that's going to be a big thing, is just getting it out there, the words that we use. And we get a little carried away with those. I know it. And now everybody's using Chat GPT, so it all sounds the same anyway. But you see some listings where a realtor is just going through with their iPhone maybe, and they're snapping some pictures, and they get it online, and you can tell, right? You can tell the difference between a properly marketed house and one that is kind of haphazardly thrown on the market, right? That is a big thing. There are things that will keep buyers from even looking at your house. I was a few months ago, I was showing a house, and I was taking my clients through, and this house had been on the market for a couple of months, and we're walking through, and this is a nice place. And we're trying to figure out, why hasn't anyone bought this house? What's happening here? So we pull up the listing, and I'm looking at the listing. Okay, well, for one, the house was absolutely cluttered, right? They went ahead and got pictures. House was cluttered. There's dishes in the sink, bad angles in the camera. There were multiple pictures on this listing of a different house. Wasn't even the same house. Right. Marketing's important. The pictures have to be good. The house has to be in order. People will not even come look at your house if they don't like the pictures online. So that part is important, and we can help you get your house ready. And as far as staging goes, because that's a big thing too, right? If your house is empty, if you're moving out, if you're taking your stuff, like I tell people all the time, they'll say, yeah, we're going to be moving out next weekend, and then you can get pictures. And then, I don't want pictures of an empty house. Let me get my photographer over there while your beds are here, while your living room furniture is here, while your kitchen table's here. Let me get my photographer over here then. Because an empty house feels smaller than a house with stuff in it. That might not make sense, but it does, because you need to see that scale. When you walk into, let's say, a 12 by 12 bedroom and there's nothing in it, that looks like a really small room, and you're saying, there's no way I can fit my kid's stuff in here. But when you walk into a 12 by 12 bedroom, which is plenty big for a kid's bedroom, and you see a twin bed, and you see a dresser, and you see, a nightstand, and you see a TV, and you see posters on the wall or whatever, right? And clothes in the closet, then you go, oh yeah, a kid will fit in here just fine. We need to have furniture in a house, at the very least for pictures. I mean, preferably for showings too, but at the very least for pictures. If a picture of an empty room, how do you know how big it is? You have no idea. You can look at the measurements online, fine. But if you don't see what a couch looks like in that room, how do you know? It's all about, marketing and presentation. So, let me get to some of that. And then pricing. I mean, we have to talk about pricing. Pricing's such a big thing. Right? I mean, it's the most important thing is pricing. And so everybody, and I know everybody, you've heard this before, everybody thinks their house is worth more than it is. And not everybody, but most people. And especially lately, because houses have been selling for so much. So something to keep in mind when we come over to look at your house and we give you the price that we think. That is a price that we think will get buyers in your door to bid on your house, to make you an offer on your house, right? And so a seller wants to, and this is the way things used to work, so I get it, but a seller wants to price up here to give themselves some room. And that's well, let's do this. We want to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room. No, we don't do that. Not anymore. Not in this market. We price it to sell, because then the buyers come in, right? And then that's the way we get the hopeful potential bidding wars to happen. And we're at a point right now where houses are sitting on the market a little bit longer. And it's not because buyers don't want to buy them. It's because buyers don't want to pay the prices. And they're not wanting to pay the prices that sellers are chasing, right? They'd love to buy a house. There are plenty of buyers out there. But some of these price tags that sellers are insisting on putting on their houses, man, buyers are just over it. They're just over it. And they're tired of the bidding wars too. So if you list it too high, you're missing everyone. You price it aggressively, you're going to get people in there bidding on your house. And even now, you're still going to get people who, if they find out there's a bidding war, they're out. They don't want anything to do with it. They're not even going to take a swing at it. Nope, I don't want to bid. So we're already losing those buyers. You don't want to lose them and the people who would be bidding on it by pricing too high. So when we come over with a number for you, remember that our main goal is to make you as much money as possible. The more money you make, the more money we make. It only makes sense, right? So we're not going to price your house to not sell it. We're going to price your house to get buyers in the door, to get you as much money as possible. That's our job. And like I said, I mean, it's commission structure, so it's percentage based. If the more you get, the more we get. Why would we not? What we don't want is to waste everybody's time with a price tag that's too high that nobody's even going to bid on. So if you hire us, if you hire an agent, and we're the one you're trusting with the sale of your home, and we're giving you advice on how to get your home sold, you need to strongly consider that advice. We are the one that you hired to help. So you have to at least consider it, right? And then especially if what we are telling you pre-listing, if we lost that battle, it happens all the time. Sometimes we lose battles. We say, this is the number we need to be at. And the seller says, that number's up here. And we lose that battle. We say, okay, but I'm telling you, I feel like this is too high, but we'll try. And then the house sits. See, we weren't trying to give your money away, but now we are giving your money away because you're in the house longer. It's the holding cost of staying in the house, another month of utilities, another house payment, another month of property taxes, right? And now you've got the stale listing. You've been on the market a month. You've been on the market 2 months. The likelihood of you getting max value for your house has gone down significantly because buyers are looking at your house like, all right, well, they've been on the market a couple months. We can lowball these people. Whereas if we just would have hit that number to start with, max value, right? And I know your neighbor's house sold for some astronomical number, right? Everybody's neighbor's house did. And they had a bidding war and they had 20 offers and they listed it $350 and they ended up getting $400,000 for their house. So you want to list your house at $400,000. It's understandable. That's what they got. So that's what we should ask for. What you need to pay attention to is what they listed at, not what they took. It was that listing number that got all the buyers in, that got them up to that sale number, right? If you chase that sale number, the likelihood of the same buyers coming in, the ones that were willing to bid on it at $350, they're not going to come bid on it at $400. They were looking at a $350 house and taking their best swing. And remember, it was only that one buyer with that number who got that house. That means every other offer on that house was lower or worse terms. And so if you want to start at that number that was the highest, you chased off everybody who was interested. You got it. It's important. There's a strategy to this. And in this market, it is so hard to leave money on the table. You could list your house at $100 and open the bidding. I mean, it's crazy. Don't do that. But what I'm saying is the buyers are going to spend what they're going to spend. And so if you overshoot those buyers with your listing amount, they're not spending anything. So, don't be afraid. I don't want to, if we're $5,000 apart on what I tell you we should list and what you want to list at, the likelihood of us leaving $5,000 on the table because, I, as your realtor, was too low in my assessment of it's not going to happen. We're going to get you the most for your money, or the most money for your house. So don't try to set a record in your neighborhood with your list price. Records hardly get set with a house that was listed to set a record. They get set by a house that was listed to bring in buyers, and the buyers bid it up, and then a record gets set. But if you put a number on it on the front end trying to break a record, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right. Don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. All right. So we're in a transaction. An offer comes in. Maybe it's lower than you like, or an inspection happens, and they're asking for more stuff than you want to fix. And you just kind of want to dig in and say, no, well, I didn't like the offer you made, so I'm not negotiating. I'm not coming down. It's temporary. Transactions are temporary. You want to sell and move on to somewhere else, right? That's your goal. Do not let your emotions, and I get it, it's your house and it's sentimental. You live there, you have memories there, and you think it's worth a lot more. And when somebody comes and devalues what is sentimental to you, I get it. That can sting, right? But ultimately you have to do your best to push that stuff aside and make a good financial decision, because that's what this is. It's a transaction where you're trying to get the most money as possible. So when people start getting their emotions tied up in things, sometimes the best decisions aren't made, right? And then we're not negotiating in good faith anymore. Then where it's buyer versus seller. And that's not what it is. It's not a legal battle. We're just navigating through, working towards the end goal, which is closing table. You get what you want for your house. They get your house, which is what they want. And everybody moves on with their lives, right? But when you focus too much on what is and ultimately just a very temporary, just a very small moment of life, and you make big financial decisions based on how you feel in that moment, they can be the wrong decisions. Sometimes you have to try to keep your emotions in check and make the best financial decision for yourself, right? And I'll try to remind you of that. A few more things to get to, and then we'll wrap this up. Be prepared for the appraisal, right? It's short appraisals happen. They just do. It's one of the last things that happens right before closing. The appraisal comes back, and sometimes it doesn't match the value of the house, and it sucks. And you're a seller, and you thought you were getting $325, but the appraisal comes back at $320. Ugh, what do you do, right? Your realtor is going to try to fight for you. They're going to go to the appraiser. They're going to give them all the facts and show them all the sales. But very, very, very rarely will an appraiser change their mind. They do not like to be told when they're wrong, even when they're proven wrong. Sorry, appraiser friends, but it's true. I've tried so many times, and it doesn't matter. They will not budge. Very, very rarely will they budge. I have found comps that were left out that 100% should have been used, that 100% show that their valuation was off. Zero effect. So be prepared. That it's always a possibility. In that instance, you're likely going to take another hit, which makes it so important going in that you know what you owe on your house, right? Know what's left on your mortgage. Know what you're going to be walking away with. Ask your realtor to crunch some numbers for you. Once you find what your payoff's going to be, keep in mind that you're going to pay a tax proration credit to the buyers. We pay taxes in arrears. So for the time that you own the house, they're going to get billed for the property taxes. You have to pay them for that at closing. That comes out of your proceeds too. Know what you owe. Super, super important, because that's not the amount. That's not the only amount that is coming out of your proceeds. There's more than that. And so we need to know that too. We need to know how tight are your margins here? How much wiggle room do we have? Right? Do we have plenty of padding built into your proceeds to cover the payoff, cover the tax prorations, cover the commission, cover the closing costs, cover any repairs that might need to be done after the inspection, And more importantly, can we absorb a little bit of a hit on a short appraisal in case that happens? So we have to have our numbers in order before we list. So that's going to be part of that conversation before we go on the market too. And I always ask, what do you owe? I need to know these things, right? So we can adjust. Last thing, and then I'll wrap this up. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask all the questions you want, right? It's a complex situation. There's a lot of things that go into it. You hired us to help you. Do not feel like you are bothering us by asking us questions, right? And if we make you feel like you are bothering us, then maybe you got the wrong agent. It is a privilege that you hired whoever you hired to list your house. We've got in our area like 700 agents, right? So every time somebody hires me, man, it's an honor. It really is. And I feel like it's a privilege, and I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to answer whatever questions you have. My phone is always on. My phone goes off at 5, 6 in the morning and go off all the way until midnight. And it's fine. That's what I signed up for. You're not bothering me. Call me all you want. Call, text, ask me the same question 10 times if it doesn't make sense. And I'll try to make it make sense. It's not a bother. Now, please still treat me with respect, right? I'm still a person. But I am here to help you, and I'm here to help you understand what's happening. So please never, ever be afraid to ask if you have questions about anything, right? And if I can't get the answers for you, I'll help you find someone who can. So I've gone on much longer than I intended to. So I'm going to wrap this up, but good luck out there. And again, if you are selling, I would love to help you out. I would love to at least have a chance to come sit down with you for a little bit, but I just wanted to give you some things to keep in mind before you entered this market, and kind of what to expect, and some things that can hopefully help you, get what you want when you sell your house. But yeah, give me a call, Eric Pedigo, the Real Estate Group. You can find me online. My phone number's online. I feel kind of weird giving it out on a podcast, but I don't know why. It's all over the place anyway. But yeah, please feel free to get a hold of me. I'm here to help. I'd love to help. And good luck to everybody, and thanks for listening. Real Estate for Real. I will be back on next week with Zach Camille. He is a local inspector, so I've never met him before, but we're going to get to know him together and kind of get an inspector's point of view on things. So thanks for tuning in, everybody.